Good morning, everybody. Mark from MT.TrainRestorations here again. Taking a break from doing the renovation and restoring of these Lionel passenger cars for a different little project today. I'm kind of excited. I got this in the mail last week. You may have seen that. And I just been anxious to get into it and see what's going on with this engine that I got. So let me focus in on that a little bit. Let me get down in here some and get down onto my workspace with you. And oh, excuse for the wiggle. But if you did not see, I got these in the mail. I got a couple bodies, couple shells. None of them are really in that good a shape. And I got a frame, which is a little mangled up, which I started to square up a little bit. And I got this motor. It's in pretty bad shape. As I picked it up the other day, the wheels just started to fall off, so on and so forth. The as you can see, the drive gear and the wheel just broke apart. So it's a Lionel piece, circa maybe 1917 to 1925. So I don't know if it runs yet. I tried to put some power to it. It doesn't do anything, but that doesn't mean much. It's pretty dirty, filthy. So today I think what we'd like to do for everybody, I know everybody probably has one of these, right? But if you don't, I'd like to kind of take it apart. You can look at the wheels. You know, 100-year-old wheels, perhaps, pretty bad shape. You know, they're done. But I save everything to the end. This drive wheel looks pretty good. I don't know. I doubt if it's probably from the same time period. It could be, but it's the only one that survived. So we're going to hang on to that one, and we're going to see what's going on here. Again, I mentioned a while back I keep a couple blocks of wood around for I could use to set things up on to get them a little bit more flat for myself. But I think the first thing I'm going to do is finish taking the wheels off, since they're mostly off already. And I think the way I do that is I don't want to mangle this up too bad. Let me see if I can get under there. Yeah, I didn't think it would take much effort. I'll have to probably punch that out of there. I will do that. Again, this wheel shot as well. But, you know, it seems to, you know, it spins okay. You know, it goes around. It's a good sign. It's not welded closed. It's the contactors in really good shape. This is Lionel Corporation. And see what we have here. Just going to kind of get this where it sits a little flatter so we can work on it. So I'm going to take the brush plate off first, and let's see what's going on under there. Somebody tried to take this off a few times because the screw heads are a little bit, the slots are a little bit beat up, but that's expected. I'm sure brushes have been changed out over the decades, perhaps. And there's a washer there. Not sure why, but we'll find out as we go into this. There's a little washer under this one, but I think it's just a insulating washer for whatever reason. The brushes may have been intact. So these are pretty durable little motors. What I'm going to do is clean this up a little bit. And what I use for this is, let's see, first of all, let me get some of this wire out of the way. Our power, we got power here. We got two powers, one going to the brush and then one coming off the other one. So it's not that difficult to figure out. So what we'll do is we're going to take this off as well. Take this brush off of here. Somebody has this wrapped around here fairly well. So for now, to save a little bit of time, I'm just going to cut that off. And on this one, I'm just going to cut this one off too for now. Put that aside. These are all going to be needing replaced. They're pretty brittle, beat up. Even this one's got a little scarf. He's got little socks on him. That's impressive. I like that. We'll see if we can salvage those and use those over again. But what I like to use on some of this to get most of the grease and gunk out of there first, I use a little bit of electric clean. It's an electronic degreaser. It's okay. It evaporates quickly, but it does seem to take a lot of the gunk out of there, where it makes it a little bit easier to finish the cleanup. So with that said, I'm just going to take it under here real quick and spray it above my wastebasket. Yeah, there we go. Get some of that. It smells pretty bad, but that's okay. So just going to wipe some of that out of there real quick. You can see it's got inside, which is good. Get some of that junk out of there and get that degreaser working on some of those parts as I continue to work on this. Blow out some of the fuzz. That's a little better. Now we can see in there. Get some of the fuzz out of there and pet hair that's been accumulating over the decades. And we'll just start to clean this up. So let's take this off here. We're going to take this and clean this up a little bit. Got some Q-tips here. And got a little bit of rubbing alcohol. That seems to work best. That degreaser, it's good for the heavy greasy stuff, but it's expensive. Alcohol's fairly inexpensive, and it cleans just as well on some of these things with a little elbow grease. So with that, we're going to get in here. We're gonna clean off this armature and see if we can get some of this off of here. We can get some better contact with the brushes. Some of it's stubborn. It's been on there for a long time, and with the heat and the friction of it running, some of that bakes on there and just makes a little bit of a screen between the brushes and the armature and so on. So we want to get as much of that off we can with some alcohol. Get some of this stuff off, whatever. Get it as clean and dry as we can. And then we can also use, but I also like to use this, the wire wheel. Get a little bit of that right off of there with this. Just be careful, keep it right on the copper plates. Just keep it on there best you can. Cleans it off pretty nice. Yeah, see, it got a little bit more off of that. What also can be used, and use a pencil eraser. A lot of times it does what it's supposed to do. It just erases whatever you're rubbing with it. Let's see how good this does. Yeah, it does a little bit better too. So you got 2 or 3 different combinations on what you could use to clean off the armature. All of them work. It all takes a little elbow grease. You can choose whatever is easiest for you, but some of these armatures, you know, you really can't take this out unless you take the gear off. It'd be nice to take it out, but it's a lot of trouble to get the gears pulled off and put back on correctly. It's really not worth the hassle to do that. The gear's in pretty good shape, and that armature is a lot better. So with that being said, we're going to check out now and see what's going on with this plate. And we got this wire here, not in real good a shape. sometimes you end up with these wires. They're supposed to end right there. There's a little notch. It's supposed to end right here and stick up real nice, and where you can get it. And it's sort of there, but it's got a clump of solder on it and so on. So I think what I'm going to do, I've done it before, I'm going to kind of cut this mess off. I know the wire's short now, but what I'm going to do, there's a lot of winding here, and you have to be careful and pay attention, but you want to get that winding where the wire broke off, straighten out, push it through, bring it around, push it through, catch that loop right over here where you started, and get that, catch that loop right there, pull that through there. So now that little bit of those few inches is not going to damage the coil, the wrapping around the magnet, and we're going to put it right back in that slot. So now we got that wire right back where we want it. It gives us a little bit of leeway for us to work with. So we're going to leave that and use that. Now let's check out this other end and see what we have. So we have probably power for a light. They brought power up twice, so they got from the contactor. And I think the contactor's in really nice shape. I don't think I'm going to split the frame apart to take that out and do anything with it. Well, let's see. There is a broken off tab here, so I'm probably going to need to do that. So, and to do that, to take this apart, a couple things you want to keep in mind. They got these little pins that go through, and they peen them over to keep that part connected. They got these little rods and pins that go all the way through. If you grind these down, you can pull this half right off from the other half. You know, that's, I try to avoid doing that as well, because again, it's factory pressed together. It's working this way. So I don't know if I can fix this without taking out and replacing, but we're going to try. We're going to see if we can pop that open enough to get that off. And I have a little tool that does that. This is an automotive piece. It's just a, I believe it's for a clamp, ring clamp. It opens up the clamp for you. I found it works pretty good with this process. Try to get it in here and, you know, spread that out enough to get this out of here. And sometimes I can get it spread enough by only taking out one of these pins and grinding off one of those. So as you can see, this pin here, the brass ones, are holding on the magnet. So what I'm going to do is see if we can grind this one off enough that we can separate this to pull this out of there and replace it, fix it up. So let me see here. To do that, I've done it with my sanding disc, or you can do it with your cutting disc, just to grind this off. You do that, and then you're in pretty good shape where you can expand this frame with these and pop that open and get that taken care of, where you can pull that out of there. So let's switch over real quick here and see how much trouble it would be. Do this a little bit over here for we don't throw stuff on the camera lens. See, I'm just kind of taking the head off of that pin. Just enough that we want to release that. You can see kind of, I just ground that off a little bit. I'm going to try it and see if it will let me open this up a little. We don't want to mangle it. We just want to work it kind of steady and easy. Might need to get a little bit more of that off of there. When it disappears like that, it's pretty much, it should be pretty much gone where it will release. See? Okay, so we got it released there enough that I believe now we can, with a little bit of pressure, kind of get this out of here. There, see? It's not too bad. Now we'll see what we got here as far as power. Yeah, they got 2 leads coming off of here, so we might as well just pull these out. Pull this out of here and there. So again, now we can get in here and clean this a little better as well before we pop it back together. But let me focus on this before we talk about putting it back together. See if we can pull off our socks, see what we got here. Oh, there we go. I'm going to cut this off right here. There we go. So we'll see if this one comes off a little easier. Looks like they have this kind of hung up in the fabric, so we'll play with that after. Get back to this and get back to that. You can see this broke off. This is what holds this kind of steady, and we want that to be back. We want that back here. So we want to remove, I want to remove this whole thing and keep that plate. That plate's in really good condition for 100 years old. This is a little mangled, but that's expected when this broke off. But I do have, I believe, yeah, we got some of these. Yeah. So what I can do is I can pop one of these off, and you can see how they match up. So they match up there fairly well. So they'll fit right back in there. The ones I have all have wheels on them, all contactors on them still. So I'm just going to take one of these apart. I'll just drill out these rivets and take this metal contact right off and use the plate, because I don't think I have any plates separately. Any of the fiber boards. No. So I can do that to fix that. That'd be good. So that's kind of what we found out. So we do have some things that we could use to put this back together. And I don't know if this was helpful or what, but this is what we got. I think the motor is going to be fine. I'm going to do this and we'll come back to this part and see how I made out. So until next time, this is Mark from MT Restorations. Thanks for watching. Hope this was helpful. And if you have any questions, comments, shoot me an email. There's my email address, MT.TrainRestorations@gmail.com. I'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.